Ebe ọma na-ege ntị, anyị ekene unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. Anyị sị ka nke onye chiri ya zelu. Anyị sị ndụ mmiri ndụ azụ, ma mmiri atara ma azụ anwụna. Anyị sị na n'Igbo ya dịka echi na echi ada agwụ agwụ. Otu anyị kwuru otu aka ya dịrịrị. Ise ise ise. Dịka o si dị, anyị chimekwuru mara na ya bụ Eastern News 24 ka anyị si wetara unu ozi ahụ nje gị inu ugbu a gbasịta ka ebe ife si ada na-akpọtụ and gbasịta maka election nke Ohaneze Ndigbo melụ n'ilu akwụkwọ ana ka ebe ife si wee gaa. O nwere nwanne anyị kwugasị dị iche iche nchọka wetara unu maka the new agenda of Ohaneze Ndigbo. Dịka ihe ga ya bụ ife kaba alụ ka ịtọ ntị na ana wee nụ ife nwanne anyị kọwagasị n'ilu akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa na Eastern News 24 ebe si wee wetara unu ya bụ ozi. Anyị ga-esi ya bụ ife ịgwa anyị ife iche n'ụdị nke gị gbasara maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile ịnụ. Right, over to you.
Results of each national elections held at the old government lodge, Abakaliki Road, Enugu. The elections concluded successfully and ushered in a new executive leadership that will guide the organization in the coming years. Senator John Azotambata emerged as the newly elected President General, succeeding in the Ozichukwu Fidelis Chukwu. His victory is marking a significant moment for the organization, signaling a new era progress, unity, and development. Now the question is, what will this Ohaneze leadership bring for Ndigbo? This is the Eastern Eye. I am Alex Obodo. You're welcome to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV. It's a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Joining me tonight to provide some perspectives on the election and the way forward for Ohaneze is Professor Charles Mweke, the Secretary General, Igbo Elders Consultative Forum. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on the Eastern Eye.
Thank you, Alex. Welcome, viewers.
All right, I think that the first thing to ask you, any surprises for you on the emergence of a new leadership for Ohaneze? Was there anything that happened at the old government lodge today that, well, you were surprised that it happened?
Well, we had looked forward to a day like today for the emergence of a new leadership of Ohaneze Ndigbo. And eventually, a new leadership has emerged. And we are delighted that after all said and done, we got a new leadership of Ohaneze. And we believe that it's commendable, and other things being equal, the Igbos will move forward.
All right. So in moving forward, River State now have their turn.
Yes.
There's been a lot of talking point. And just yesterday, Chief Michael Kuro had to step down his intention to run following a court injunction. So talk to us about that very aspect on really having to get someone that the Igbo-speaking rivers will actually rally around.
Well, some of us entertain fear because when the former Deputy President General, who were from Rivers, died, for over a year they didn't bring a replacement. So it made some people to start thinking that perhaps now that it's their turn, the same thing may happen. But they surprised us. So as you testify, Senator John Mbata has been elected as the President General for Ohaneze Ndigbo. So I think people who expected something different were disappointed. So we're happy that finally that a good leader has emerged from the rivers. The river people have been part and parcel of Ohaneze. In fact, Chief Umuche, a number of them from rivers were founding fathers of Ohaneze Ndigbo. And so we are happy that today the rivers didn't disappoint the Igbos. They didn't disappoint Nigerians. So they brought a wonderful material, the name of Senator John Mbata. And so we are happy to have elected him. He's a former senator, experienced politician, and another statesman. So he has what it takes to move Ohaneze to a new level.
All right. So a number of issues were raised at the occasion today. I was there.
Yes.
But that was why I met you in person.
Yes.
I've been, watching you elsewhere. So let's talk about the speech by Governor Peter Mbah and that of Governor Hope Uzodimma. Let's talk about the speech by Governor Hope Uzodimma. He said, and I'll quote him, maybe not accurately.
Yes.
He said that it wouldn't be nice for executives of Ohaneze to take a night bus to travel to Lagos or Abuja to attend meetings.
Yes.
That we would like to have leaders who will emerge and they will look the part and really play the part.
Yes.
That's quoting him loosely now.
Yes.
So what do you make out of that? And you promised, okay, when you answer, after
yes,
I'll ask you another.
By my own assessment, it means that the government of Southeast, Rivers, and Delta, they are determined to give Ohaneze necessary support, technically, administratively, financially, and otherwise, to move forward. Two, I think they also consider the personalities, some of them, to make sure that people who are jobbers are not, I'm not saying that the aspirants were jobbers, no, but whatever happens, it means that the government of the 7 states, Southeast 5, then Rivers and Delta, will certainly give Ohaneze the necessary support and muscle to carry out its functions. That's what I heard out of it. That means they're going to do their...
The Southeast governors also pledged to support the new Ohaneze to make sure that they are robust.
Yes.
So let's put this in perspective. In the past, what was really obtainable? Is it that, well, they always want that support, but they didn't get it? Or was there a disconnect?
Well, in the past, some state governments actually supported Ohaneze, but not all of them. For example, some of them, especially Enugu and Imo, have always paid their normal monthly support to Ohaneze. But the same thing may not be said of the others. Abia, from the time the new governor came, has been paying. But also, like he said that the past debts, it wasn't part of it. We won't go into that. But since he came on board, Abia has been paying. So the same thing may not be said of all the state governments. But from what the governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma said, means that he said that the governors had a meeting and they had resolved to give every necessary support to Ohaneze to move forward. It means that they have devised means of persuading or encouraging all the state governments to pay their necessary financial contribution to Ohaneze. That's what I made out of his speech.
All right, so it's now a new dawn for Ohaneze.
Yes.
So how do you expect this new Ohaneze to really engage the rest of the country?
Well, first is that there are a number of challenges facing Igbo as a people. Number one is that the new leadership should make sure that all the conflicts, existing conflicts, are resolved. Igbos need to act as a one body with one voice and as a focus. So they have to unite all segments of Igbo, all factions. Governors also said that they don't want to see any more factions. You see people who come out one day, they come up and claim that they are President General of Ohaneze. They do this, they do that. So we don't want that again. So that is the first challenge for the new leadership, to unify, to make sure that Igbos speak with one voice. That is one. Two, this leadership will have enormous security challenges in Igbo land. Today, you see, especially in Anambra and Imo states, a number of places are no-go area now. It shouldn't, but without security, you can't talk of investment. A number of that, in the last 1 month, I attended 4 major traditional weddings in Abuja, the traditional wedding that's supposed to take place in Igbo land, it had to take place in Abuja. Soon, you see burials also organizing outside Igbo land. This is not part of Igbo history and tradition. So we usually celebrate in Igbo land, but because of security challenges, it's no longer possible. So the major priority of Ohaneze is so that there is security in Igbo land. How do they do this? They need to look inward, okay, resolve all the internal matters, and then look forward. There is a need to address the security challenges here. Government, there is a need for Ohaneze to engage the federal government through the governors. Governors, they have their role to play. Ohaneze has a role to play. But fundamentally, there is a need to release Mr. Nnamdi Kanu because he's central to peace process in Igbo land. So Ohaneze will not do it alone. We expect the governors to come together and meet Mr. President and demand, well, appeal that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu should be released because a number of miscreants are causing problems here and there in the name of Nnamdi Kanu. If Nnamdi Kanu is released, let's see now people who we had under his name to cause problem in Igbo land. So that is one. Ohaneze, the new leadership, should organize itself and meet the governors. The governor has to be an active participant in that. They should meet Mr. President and request that they should release Nnamdi Kanu. That is one. Two, they will also meet Mr. President. If you come to Southeast, you see police checkpoints every 500 meters. Every 500 meter police checkpoints. You see that it takes time. It is not favorable to business. Small-scale enterprises are dying off in Southeast, in Igbo land, because of these security challenges. We look like a conquered territory. It's not like this elsewhere. Go to other places. You don't see as many checkpoints as you see. The checkpoints you see in Enugu State alone is more than the entire checkpoints you see in North Central or Northeast or other parts of the country. Why must it be so? So we want federal government to, as they are dealing with other parts of the country, to do the Southeast. We don't want these unnecessary checkpoints. That's not the best way to handle security challenges. So that is it. Two is that why do we have Jews keep on complaining? It's because of consistent exclusion of these Igbos from the governance of the country. They are complaining of marginalization. They are complaining, yes, in Nigeria today, when it comes to admission into unity schools, universities, recruitment into public service, federal character will apply as contained in Section 14, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution. But when it comes to appointment, it will not apply. If you set the exam, you see it was taken top. They will not be there. You go to many places, we are not there. And the question is, are we not part of Nigeria? If you are part of Nigeria, if you are applying federal character in admission into universities, where you know people from Igbo land perform excellently well, why don't you apply federal character in recruitment? In appointment, for example, today, we have almost 48 ministers. Each zone supposed to get minimum of 8. How many do we have in the Southeast? 5. Today, it's only Southeast that has only 5 states. And that means other things being equal, we are behind others by 3 senators. Others don't have minimum of 18 senators. Southeast has only 15. House of Rep, the same thing. Local government, the same thing. And even now, they are talking of local government's autonomy. Local government now receive allocation direct from federation account. How many do we have in the Southeast? the local government you have in the southeast, the one you have in Kano, Kaduna, and not Zamfara. I remember Kano has 44 local governments.
Kaduna?
No, not Kaduna. Which one is carved out from Kano? I will remember the name. Okay. They have 33, making it 77 for old Kano.
Jigawa?
Jigawa.
Yeah. Jigawa State.
Yes. They have 33, Kano 44, making it 77. Meanwhile, how many do we have in the southeast? Or the 5 they put together? And so, all these things are part of the complaints of Igbo youths. And we want federal government to address this. We are not saying that we support any form of violence, no. We want to continue. You asked me priority of Ohaneze.
That's right.
These are the things that the new leadership of Ohaneze should take on to ensure that the people from this side of the country are not being marginalized, are not being excluded from governance of the federation. And remember, think of federal projects here, there's none. We don't have any. And so, and we have a teeming population of unemployed youths. Where do they go? And so that's why Ohaneze, new leadership of Ohaneze has enormous task to see how it will buckle up to engage the federal government. As well as relate with other social cultural groups, such as Southern and Middle Belt, Afenifere, Pandev, Middle Belt Forum, in order to have greater impact in national politics.
While it is good to do this, there is an elephant in the room, which it may be nice for this particular new executive of Ohaneze should address, and that is the issue of splinter groups. There are people who parade themselves as PGs of Ohaneze. In fact, while we were at Old Government Lodge, there was some news circulated online about someone emerging the PG of Ohaneze. I won't mention the name in order not to give them publicity. I saw it and I quickly told the person that's fake news, because I'm right here at the venue of where the election is holding. At that time, the election hadn't held. That was shortly before the governors arrived with the candidates. But then, how do we deal with this? It needs to be meticulously tackled. Constantly, we've had this.
Sorry, please, Jigawa.
Yeah, it's Jigawa.
Jigawa has 33 local government.
All right.
Kano has 44.
Good. So how do we deal? Because before you engage people outside of your region, you would need to conquer in a positive way your region.
Yes.
So how do we deal with it?
No, as a matter of fact, the new Ohaneze leadership, that's what I said before, they have to reach out. All the aggrieved aspirants, all the aggrieved persons, all the aggrieved groups, they should be invited to a round table discussion. As a matter of fact, all of them want progressive Igbo land. The only thing is that the way they want it may not be the way others want it. So what the new leadership needs to do is to bring every person on to a round table discussion. We have much assignment. Give them assignments. Form committees. Put all these people in committees. Let them work. Is it not service? As many as are available to serve Igbo people, please let them be accommodated. We don't want faction. Whoever is claiming to be elected as a President General, other than Senator John Mbata, is messing up. As a matter of fact, two journalists called me.
To say the same thing,
right? The same thing. They called me. I told them that the election hadn't taken place and that I was right. Daily Trust called me from Abuja. And another was, I told them that the election hadn't taken place. And those people, in the interest of Igbo land, should desist from causing confusion.
Yeah, because why I'm saying this, you see them issuing statements And you see mainstream platforms carrying it. They make statements that will sound so appealing with a clickbait. Ndigbo rejects zoning or things like that. They say why Nnamdi Kanu shouldn't be released. You know, you see very interesting headlines, and they just want something to put themselves out there. It needs to stop, meaning that the new Ohaneze must also have a way of putting themselves out there, because right now, as we speak, it's not happening. It takes a lot of time before you hear the authentic Ohaneze. The news from the splinter groups will have circulated before the original Ohaneze reacts.
Yes, I think, as a matter of fact, any Igbo man that doesn't support the release of Nnamdi Kanu, his DNA should be checked. He's not an Igbo man. Because as long as Nnamdi Kanu carries this chain, every Igbo man carries that chain. So long as he can, because here, there's no reason to continue to keep him there. He's not supposed to be kept there. As a matter of fact, you know, 15 charges. First, Federal High Court, presided by Justice Binta Nyako, discharged him of 8. And then he appealed. And the remaining 8, an appeal court, unanimous judgment, discharged him of the remaining 7 and said that Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer. Federal government said that they were appealing. For over 7-8 months, they kept him without appealing. Remember, when ASO had a case with federal government went and got an injunction and said ASO must obey first before complain. And we'll be asking federal government, why don't you obey your own judgment too? It's the court of a federal high court, court of appeal. 3 months unanimous judgment that Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer. Release that young man. If you release him, some people, enemies of the Igbo, are going to tell federal government that if you release Nnamdi Kanu, this will happen, this will happen. No. Release him. If you release Nnamdi Kanu, there will be peace in Igbo land. And I'm happy to note that that was the last official assignment our late President General, Chief Emmanuel Iwanyamu, took. He had to go and see Nnamdi Kanu. And he pleaded that that young man should be released. Remember, Professor George Obiozo pleaded that Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Remember that Chief Mbazilika Amechi, 93-year-old man, pleaded with the former president that, in fact, release of Nnamdi Kanu should be a birthday gift for him. And I am leveraging their earlier appeal that the federal government should help the new Ohaneze leadership to perform by releasing Nnamdi Kanu. Because if you release him, there'll be peace. People will move out on Monday. You can imagine the manpower we're losing in the southeast. You can imagine everything. Small and medium enterprises are folding up in southeast. Things are getting tough. And so we can't continue like this. So the new leadership of Ohaneze has an enormous task, and we believe that with determination, with perseverance, with wisdom and knowledge, the new leadership of Ohaneze will conquer. And that's what we expect from this new leadership. The tasks are enormous. It's not a tea party, so they have enormous challenges.
That's right. And we'll take a quick break here on the Eastern Eye. When we return, we'll have many more issues to raise with Professor Charles Mweke. Stay with us. You're welcome back here to the Eastern Eye on Affair TV. It's a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Just before we shift to other aspects of our discussion, it will be absolutely right to actually maybe go through the names of people who had emerged in the Ohaneze election. I think that it's only fair for people to actually know them. They are, for the post of President General is Senator John Azuta Mbata. And of course, Deputy President General is Oke Nwadinobi. Secretary General is Engineer Emeka Sibudu. Deputy Secretary General is Dan Okey. Vice President General Omife Jidofo. Vice President General Chief John Duru. Vice President General Dr. Ngozi Oleime. Vice President General Dr. Peter Mbam. Vice President General Professor Fred Eza. I think, of course, every state will have their Vice President General. I didn't want to mix up anybody. That's why I was not adding the states. But I know Fred Eza is from Enugu State.
Yes.
And I think Dr. Peter Mbam is from Ebonyi.
Ebonyi.
Yes. And
Delta.
Yeah. And Dr. Peter
Anambra.
Yeah, Dr. Chidera Aneke is National Treasurer. And the Assistant National Treasurer is Nnanna Nwankwo. The National Financial Secretary is Charles Kalu Nkata. Assistant National Financial Secretary is Jane Wanga. National Publicity Secretary is Dr. Ezechukwu Eze. And the Assistant National Publicity Secretary is Mazi Bismarck Oji. He's featured prominently on my programs here. And he spoke glowingly about Ohaneze too. And National Legal Advisor is Barrister Okagu Ogada. Assistant National Legal Advisor is Barrister Chizoba Ihaka. Of course, lots of people were there. You can see from the picture, the who is who in Igbo land was there. You have the former Senate President, Adolphus Nwabara. You have a former Governor of Anambra State, Chief Chris Ohaneze Ndigbo, former Minister too. And of course, to the left of Adolphus Nwabara is former Governor of Imo State, Ikedi Hakim. And then you start moving, you see the middle of your picture in white, Senator Hope Uzodimma, and flanked to the right by Alex Chioma Oti. The Ozichukwu Fidelis is shielding my governor there in the picture. But of course, it's just full of people who you know very well. Senator Ben Obi was also there. Yeah. He moved one of the motions for the nominations and for the adjustments that needed to happen before the events took place, and of course before the affirmations, because it was more like the eyes had it and it went on. Thank you so much for that. Let's shift to the second leg of this discussion. Yeah, that's Peter Mbam in the picture. I mean, how would he would not have allowed us to see everybody? Yeah, okay. That's Peter Mbam on the picture now, yes. Standing beside the former President General. Okay, Muche is there, just in the golden cap there, sandwiched between the man in suit and the other person. So, okay, thank you. So let's talk about now the Southeast Development Commission. Just recently, Mark Okoye was announced, though they would need a Senate confirmation to really start the work they want to do.
Yes.
But the idea of a Southeast Development Commission for you, because I haven't asked you, I always ask people who come here what they think about a Southeast Development Commission.
Well, let me use this opportunity to commend our representatives at the National Assembly. They tried in making sure that at least we've got a Development Commission. I also want to commend the President for assenting it. It's a welcome development, and it's our prayer that Southeast Development Commission will actually look inward and see what should be done to get Southeast moving again. You see that essentially industries are folding up in the Southeast. Essentially because one is security challenges, two is lack of infrastructure. And I will advise the management to focus on providing necessary infrastructure throughout the Southeast in order so that you have conducive business investment environment to attract investment. Even our own people are no longer ready to invest here because of a number of problems. The roads are not there. Other facilities are not there. And so the cost of doing business in the Southeast is becoming exorbitant. And if the Southeast Development Commission, we focus on this, assist the state governments to provide conducive business environment in the Southeast, then investment will be rekindled. And then that will also be followed by employment opportunities. But beyond that, we want this Southeast Development Commission to pioneer what is called backward and forward linkages. If this commission can introduce backward and forward linkages in the Southeast, that will stimulate industrial development of Southeast. What do I mean by forward and backward linkages? Is that in Southeast, we have minerals in different parts of the Southeast. We have to set up a set of researchers that will come up. For example, maize can support up to 10 different companies. Cassava can support up to 20 different industries. And then if you properly plan it, you can guide people on the area they can invest and get necessary technical and managerial support. And you see them moving. And you see that industry A is products. It doesn't need to look for market. Industry B buys the products. Industry C and D buy from this one.
Yeah.
So you see
the value chain are close to each other.
The value chain there. You see the thing growing. And then you see employment opportunity everywhere.
Yeah.
And when you have that.
Sorry, I'm interjecting. A lot of people say that's the reason why Lagos and that axis in the Southwest are flourishing, because the value chain is there. Whatever it is you're producing, there are off-takers ready to take it. But here, you can come and set up a plant, and no off-taker is ready to take the risk of hauling it all the way to Lagos without actually having any value. So you made a very good point. But the point is, all these things you have said wouldn't happen, except maybe there is some kind of synergy between the Southeast governors, the Southeast Development Commission, and the captains of industry, investors, and those who are currently controlling a lot of production lines elsewhere in the country. Is there going to be that round table?
That's why I suggested. You see, Southeast Development Commission, it should have a department that will be likened to that of RAP, the one Biafra had during the Civil War. RAP, research and production, solely for research and development. Southeast Development Commission should have such a thing to study the potentials in the Southeast, minerals and other things, and come up with investment packages. You get people, a number of people, look, come and invest in this area. You teach them, you guide them, you provide technical assistance for them, even financial support. You can give them how to do their feasibility studies, how to get loan and other things. This is what I expect them. I expect this Southeast Development Commission to pioneer industrialization of Southeast by going beyond what state governments are doing. You understand? To provide technical and professional services to the state government in addition to its principal mandate. So it can do that. And so if that is done, if the commission can even call, for example, Enugu State, look at this area, look at this area, look at this area. You can invest in this area. Prepare the youths. Give them proper orientation and training. Young investors, direct them accordingly. What to do? By the time you do that, you see that our youths are fully engaged. They will no longer have time to go into social vices, kidnapping. You know, an idle mind is devil's workshop. If we fully provide job or employment opportunities, investment opportunities for our youths, you see that security challenges will decrease fundamentally, will reduce fundamentally in the Southeast. But the truth is that today, many industries are folded up. Small and scale enterprises have folded up. thereby leaving an army of unemployed youths. And you see, that's why some of them have taken to Yahoo business. Some have taken to kidnapping. Some have taken to other things in order to survive. But with the launching of Southeast Development Commission, if it really gets down to business, I think some of these problems shall be tackled fundamentally. And you see that industry will start thriving in the Southeast. Investment will go up, and people will be happy to come. Because whether east or west, home is the best.
All right.
You are making millions, you are elsewhere, you can't come home. What is the relevance?
It really hurts. No, if you have the inability,
Yes.
if you don't have the ability to come and celebrate at home, you will know that there's a
Yes.
void within you somewhere.
Yes.
But just before we go, I'd like to have your assessment of the development so far by the governors in the Southeast. Are you in any way feeling a new lease of life, a sense of a fresh burst in terms of development and infrastructure? Or do we still, are you looking at things that need much to be desired?
Well, I wouldn't say I've done a total assessment of the performances of the various state governments, but I think Enugu State is doing wonderfully well. A number of areas, even security. Security, Enugu State government is trying. The smart schools, understand health centers. I understand the government is also building international conference center and other things. I think other things being equal, Enugu State government is doing wonderfully well. Also, Abia State. See, I didn't recognize that about last time. Abia State government is doing well. I haven't been privileged to visit other states, okay? But we encourage them, the Southeast government, to know that we have no other place. If federal government marginalizes us, we shall not marginalize ourselves. They should sit down to business. I think to some extent, Imo State, in terms of infrastructural provisions, these are the ones I have not gone to all of them. So I'm not condemning any.
Okay. So
But
you are
I
not
think-
able to speak
Yes,
about
but
where
I
you haven't
am,
gone to.
But yes, I don't want to. But what I'm saying is that based on what we are and the other things, they should go beyond this. There are a number of areas they should go. Let
Eneba darulene nukunu si wee na-esoyela na ihe anyị na-eme dị iche iche n'elu akwụkwọ and dịka anyị sotere ya bụ update n'elu akwụkwọ gbasata maka ya bụ election ndị Ohaneze Ndigbo melụ n'ụbọchị nke gara aga and nke ifu nwere ikwu gbasata maka ya bụ ihe niile unu gasị n'elu akwụkwọ nwanne nwoke kọwagasị ka ifu nwere ikwu n'elu akwụkwọ gbasata maka ya bụ ife dropọrọ ifiche n'ụdị nke gị na Eastern 24 ebe anyị si na-wetara ya bụ ozi a dị oke mkpa ka emesịa n'ụmụnne m.